Good morning, everyone. It is good to see you all. It is a joy and a blessing. Welcome, Unity of Phoenix. Welcome to our Sunday Soul Celebration. I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister here, and it is really great to be with you. Welcome, welcome.
Now's that time in our service for a time of prayer and meditation. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Those words are our weekly reminder that it is that time in our service to just set aside a few moments to make a connection with the divine that is within us and all around us. So as we enter into this sacred time together, I invite you to get comfortable in your seat and to take a deep, refreshing breath and just relax, let go. Just set aside all of your worries, all of your concerns. Give yourself the luxury of turning completely inward and releasing any outer distractions. Becoming quiet and still. Becoming open and receptive to that divine spirit within you. So one more deep breath. And then for the next few moments, just be quiet and be still. As we move more fully into this wonderful season of gratitude, I invite you to do a personal inventory of your life and all the blessings that you have to be thankful for. All the people in your life who touch you in so many different ways. The incredible universe that we live and move and have our being in. This wonderful gift of life we've each been blessed with. All of the abundance that is available to us. For all of these blessings and too many more to mention in these brief few moments, we give thanks in the name and through the nature of the living Christ. And so it is. Amen.
How about a couple of Thanksgiving quick jokes? All right. Since you asked, so why don't they let turkeys come to church? Because they use foul language. Okay. What happened to the turkey in the fight? He got the stuffing knocked out of him. Okay. Whew. Should I go for the big finish? All right. What do you get when you divide the circumference of a pumpkin and you divide it by its diameter? Pumpkin pie! Ba-doom! Come on. An intellectual Thanksgiving joke? That's pretty impressive. So morning again, everyone. Good to see you. And a shout out to Unity of Rockford, Illinois, who uses our videos as a part of their ministry to support them. So we love you guys. Thank you for being a part of our ministry. So how many people here have ever had something in your life not go as well as you wanted, and you got a little annoyed, cranky, and irritated? Anybody ever get a little cranky and irritated? And how many people ever have, when things didn't go well, you decided to complain and whine about it for a while? Any complaining or whining? And how about when things didn't go good for a long time? Ever gotten to a place where you just got a little negative, pessimistic, and even cynical that it might get better? Anybody ever had that? So it reminds me of this really bad joke, and but it's beautiful. So here's what it says. A doctor moves to this small town and immediately starts treating people, and he cures anything. I mean, from a toothache to any kind of illness, the guy is just curing everything. And people just think of him as like Dr. Miracles. And they love and appreciate this guy so much. And everybody loves him except the town cynic, the town pessimist named Fred. So Fred was out to disprove this guy. Now people, not like him and appreciate it as much. So he makes an appointment. He says, Doc, I have lost my sense of taste. Can't taste nothing. Can't taste a thing. What are you going to do to cure me? Then the doctor scratches his head and thinks for a while. And he says, Fred, what you need is jar number 43. He says, jar number 43? What kind of wacko quack is this guy? So the doctor leaves for a couple of minutes, comes back with a little jar, and it's got 43 written on it. He says, taste this, Fred. Fred tastes it, and he starts spitting it out and says, God, that's the most horrible, disgusting thing I ever tasted in my life. Doctor smiles and said, well, it looks like we cured your and restored your sense of taste. So Fred was just furious. He was completely irritated. So he goes away for a month and thinks, how am I going to stump this guy? How am I going to just nail him? And so he comes back a month later and he says, Doc, I can't remember. Can't remember a thing. You asked me what happened yesterday. Can't remember. It's gone. Can't remember a thing. What are you going to do to cure me? So Fred thinks, I got him this time. I got him. Doctor's scratching his head. He's thinking. And then he finally says, Fred, what you need is jar number 43. And so, okay. All right. So I told that joke before. It's a bad joke. We know it. But the point is, every one of us at times gets a little negative, a little cynical, a little pessimistic about life. We're really beginning the holiday and Thanksgiving season. It's a time of year that we're encouraged to be loving, to be kind, to be good, and especially to be grateful. The Thanksgiving holiday, to me, is an important and fabulous tradition that I think we all love. But I also believe that we can use this to be like our jar number 43 to help us remember how good life is, how wonderful life is. In the Bible, it tells us the importance of gratitude. It's more than just a holiday and an annual tradition. It is a powerful spiritual practice that can transform our lives. Remember when Paul said, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Do you know nothing renews the mind quicker than being grateful and thankful? Nothing renews the mind quicker than us recognizing and appreciating all the good in our lives. Gratitude shifts our attitude, our mindset, our perspective. It increases our energy, our vibration, and our ability to enjoy, appreciate, and attract greater things in our lives. You know, actual studies show that when people who are grateful tend to be happier, tend to be healthier, tend to be more efficient and productive, tend to be more successful, more joyful, have better social relationships, because people like being around people who are positive and thankful and grateful. There are all kinds of physical, mental, social benefits of being thankful and grateful. A greater sense of fulfillment, a greater sense of purpose and appreciation. But you know what people struggle with thank you? As much as we love Thanksgiving and understand the principle and how good it is that people have a hard time staying grateful, staying thankful, and developing an attitude and a consciousness of appreciation, a consciousness of thankfulness. And the question is, when we know it's so good and we love Thanksgiving, like, why do we have a hard time, doing it consistently and having that attitude and mindset all the time? And there are 4 reasons. Number 1, as human beings, sometimes we tend to focus on what isn't working, what isn't good, what we don't have, and what we don't like. We focus on what we don't like about our job, what we don't like about our boss, what we don't like about our spouse, what we don't like about our families. And we turn to that common thing we all do, and that is whining and complaining. Complaining is a negative energy that focuses on lack and not enoughness. And the thing about complaining, it tends to be contagious. And what happens is when we do it so much, we're blind to how much good is in our lives. It's hard to see it. Second thing we do is we set a level of expectation that life should go our way all the time. Not some of the time, all the time. And when you set an expectation that life should be the way you want it all the time, we drop with disappointment. We get deflated quickly when it doesn't, which it often doesn't for all of us. So and we make this thing is we say thanks when things go our way. We're happy when things go our way. And that's a pretty limited definition of what happiness is. We restrict it, and we can't enjoy as much because we think things should go our way. And if it doesn't, then I'm not going to be grateful or happy. Third one is we tend to be so busy. We're so busy that sometimes we don't have time to sit and enjoy and acknowledge and appreciate the good in our lives. We're so busy wanting to get from here to there that we miss the journey and don't really enjoy all of our good. And the fourth one is we get kind of complacent. You get so accustomed to electricity and air conditioning, you just expect it there. We have so many things that are so good in our lives, and we end up just getting complacent, comfortable, accustomed, and we take it for granted. So it's easy to kind of get out of that focus and that awareness of how blessed we are. So today I've entitled the Thanksgiving message, Thank You Very Much. And I know you're thinking my inspiration was Elvis Presley, and it was to a certain extent. I'm a big Elvis fan. I love Elvis. But there are 2 things about thank you very much that are important. Number 1, I looked up the definition of thank you very much. It's actually in the dictionary. It's on internet. And you know what it means? It means a greater expression of gratitude than thank you. Thank you very much is an intention to express more gratitude than you normally do. And then the second aspect of it is about its sincerity. In Psalm 9, verse 1, it says, you should thank God with your whole heart. Thank you very much is an intention to express greater gratitude, but it's also to express it with more sincerity. Thank you very much. It is a depth of thanking with your whole heart. And that's how we turn our Thanksgiving holiday into a consciousness of gratitude, a consciousness and a mindset of thankfulness, and making it a way of life. So let's talk about some things. In the Bible, it not only says that being thankful is a good thing, it says the opposite is a bad thing. Not being grateful is harmful to us. In 2 Timothy, it actually says not being grateful is akin to being unholy, abusive, slanderous, murderous. That's how negative. Why? Why would it say being ungrateful is? Because when we're ungrateful, you know what? It is like denying and rejecting the blessings of God. It is rejecting the good that God has put in our lives when we are not grateful. And it creates a disconnect. Let me give up an example of that. In Luke 17, remember when Jesus healed the 10 lepers and only one came back to give thanks? He said, where's the 9? And it wasn't that Jesus wanted his ego to be stroked and say, hey, Jesus, hey, thanks. It was because Jesus realized that thanksgiving is a practice that connects us, our awareness, and connects our lives and our spirits to God. And that when we're not thankful, we miss out on a spiritual fullness and a richness of understanding the depth of where that good comes from. It restricts us from enjoying it. He knew that if those people weren't thankful for something big, they're probably not thankful for the little things either. And that what we do by not being grateful is rob ourselves out of the awareness, the connection, the enjoyment, and the spiritual fulfillment of where that good comes. Does that make sense, everyone? And that's why St. Vincent de Paul said we should spend as much time thanking God for the gifts than we do in asking for them. Because sometimes we spend more time asking for it than we do in being thankful and grateful. So what can we do to practice gratitude, to bring our consciousness? And the first one is to set an intention. An intention is a powerful thing. To have an intention, to have a consciousness of thankfulness, an attitude of gratitude, a mindset of appreciation. I mean, how many people would like to be remembered? Boy, that guy was really grateful. Man, did he appreciate life. Boy, was she someone, that was grateful for everything. Wouldn't you like to be one of the qualities that you're known for? I mean, not only to bless your life, but to inspire others. So the first thing is just set an intention that you want to be a more grateful person. You want to be more thankful. You want to be more appreciative. And the second step is just do it. And here's how. In everything, in the simple things of your life, just quietly say to yourself, thank you. When you get up in your morning and your feet hit the ground, say thank you. When you smell coffee in the morning, say thank you. When you're showering and you go in your closet and you pick out your new clothes and you're finished dressed, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, just say thank you. When you get in your car, say thank you. When you reach at your job, say thank you. During the day while you're doing your job, say thank you. When you use your smartphone, say thank you. When you Google something, say thank you. When you get your paycheck, say thank you. When you're paying your bills, say thank you. When you feel the warmth of the sunshine on your face, say thank you. When you see the sunrise or sunset or the moon, and did you see the supermoon the other night? Say thank you. When you listen to the song of the birds, say thank you. When the Phoenix Cardinals win a game, say thank you. When someone is kind and helpful to you, say thank you. When you buy your groceries, say thank you. When you come home and your cleaning ladies clean the house, say thank you. When you're all together with your family at Thanksgiving, say thank you. When they've all gone back home, say thank you. When you sit down to eat any meal, say thank you. And just before you go to sleep in your warm bed, say thank you. You think you'd ever run out of things to say thank you for? You think this would ever get old? There's so many things to give thanks for. Last week, the last few weeks, I've been drinking coffee, and I got this little Keurig machine. Coolest thing in the world. Put a little water in it, put a little thing in it, makes one perfect cup of coffee. And I'm also grateful for sugar-free hazelnut creamer. I love that. Because the only thing I like about coffee is the smell, not the taste. I was eating some sushi the other day, and I thought to myself, thank you. The weather has been so good. I said, thank you. My brother, who I love and adore, has been visiting me twice a year for the last 7 years, every spring and fall, and he's here now. And for his blessing of his presence, I say thank you. There are so many things in our lives that we have in our lives, but it's awareness of it. It's recognition of it and pausing to appreciate it that makes a difference. Gratitude changes our lives because it recognizes the good, It brings us a level of awareness, appreciation, and it makes us more present to life. When you're thankful because you know what's in it, it begins to change us. And the funny thing is, not just saying it. Do you know what they say? Studies say writing things makes a difference. That when you write it, you have to think. Then writing it out is the motion, the activity. You see it and you feel it. So not only just saying thank you for the things, but once or twice or 3 times a week, write down, what's good about my life? What's working well? Who are the people that love me? And write down the things that you're grateful for. 40 Days of Thankful Living. Some of you bought that book. Every day you had to write down 10 things you're grateful for. The act of writing seems to deepen it into our awareness, deepen it into our consciousness, and makes it more of a habit for us to do on a regular basis. For all the good in our lives, when we pause and recognize and acknowledge it, we could not help but say, thank you. Thank you very much. There are many things to appreciate in our lives, and I'll tell you, one of the things that we appreciate least and acknowledge and take for granted the most is ourselves. When was the last time you acknowledged yourself and appreciated yourself? We think gratitude is for God, gratitude is for other people, gratitude is for stuff, that happens. We think, be grateful for myself, appreciate myself. So at some level, we think that's narcissistic. We think it's selfish. We're more comfortable putting ourselves down or using self-deprecating humor or thinking we have nothing to offer or thinking, oh, that's not that big or that good. We so often undervalue what we are and overvalue what we're not. That we spend so much time valuing what we're not and trying to be what we're not that we miss appreciating, acknowledging, and valuing who we are. The worst thing we do is comparing ourselves to others. That we harm ourselves. But out there in the world, the idea about loving yourself is getting more traction. Being true to yourself is getting more traction. Self-care is getting more traction. But we need to extend it to appreciating ourselves, because that goes a little deeper. So my question for you is, what do you appreciate about yourself? Maybe you appreciate your smile. Maybe you appreciate your eyes. Maybe you appreciate that you're kind. Maybe you appreciate that you're positive or friendly or generous. Maybe you appreciate that you're creative or that you're patient. Maybe you appreciate that you're a good writer or you're really organized, you're a good leader. Maybe you appreciate that you're good at parallel parking. Maybe you appreciate that you're still a Phoenix Suns fan. Maybe you appreciate that you helped somebody the other day. Maybe you appreciate that you've made a breakthrough and overcome an addiction. Maybe you appreciate that you've been through a lot of difficult things, but you've hung in there and you appreciate who you are today than who you were 5 years ago. There's a lot of things to appreciate. Appreciate things that you've achieved, breakthroughs that you've made, things that you've released and let go from the past. What do you appreciate about you? And are you willing to take some time and just be grateful for you, to thank God for you, to appreciate and celebrate the goodness and the beauty that you bring into this world and the difference that you make? I appreciate myself. Half voice together. I appreciate myself. Take a deep breath. And how deep can you let that in? I am thankful for me. Half voice. I am thankful for me. Deep breath. Let that in. I am grateful for myself together. I am grateful for my... Can you take a deep breath into that? This is important work. You are the light of the world. You are the temple of the living God. You are uniquely and wondrously made, created in the image and likeness of God, the source that created the sun and the earth and the wind, created you. You're not here by accident. You're here on divine purpose, by divine appointment. So what are you going to do to appreciate you a little bit more? To nurture you, to care for you, to take time to connect you with your spirit, to celebrate your success, maybe be a little more gentle on yourself. Speak a little more kindly and encouragingly and affirmatively about yourself. I appreciate myself together. I appreciate myself. I am thankful for myself together. I am thankful for myself. I am grateful for me together. I am grateful for me. And the last thing I want to talk about is the great awareness that people who are perpetually thankful and have an attitude of gratitude is they're aware that things aren't always going to go perfectly in their lives. That they just accept that that's a part of it. And to accept the part that we still have the resources to face those things, and that those things can actually help us and bless us, that there are trials in life, and then they're important part of life, and we can embrace them, utilize them, and accept them. That's why it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, in all things give thanks, for this is God's will for you. God wants you to have this consciousness even when life isn't going well. My brother Brian introduced me to a fabulous book. I'm going to do a talk on it. It's called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, who, like us, was born in Trinidad. Here's what he writes. The first professional writing job I ever had after 17 years of trying was on a movie called King Kong Lives. I and my partner at the time, Stephen Shusett, a brilliant writer and producer who also did Alien and Total Recall, he and I hammered out the screenplay for Dino De Laurentiis. We loved it. We were sure it was a hit. Even after we saw the finished film, we were certain this was a blockbuster. We invited everyone we knew to the premiere. We even rented out the place next door for a triumph blowout. Get there early, we warned all our friends, the place is going to be mobbed. Nobody showed. There was only one guy in line besides our guests, and he was muttering something about spare change. That's a slow-releasing joke, so that's okay if you just... In the theater, our friends endured the movie with mute stupefaction. When the lights came up, they fled like cockroaches in the light. The next day came the review in Variety magazine. Ronald Seshet and Stephen Pressfield, we hope these are not their real names for their parents' sake. When the week's gross came in, the flick barely registered. I still clung to hope. Maybe it's tanking in the urban areas, and maybe it's actually playing much better in the burbs. So I motored over to the Ed City Cineplex. A youth manned the popcorn booth, and I asked, "How's King Kong Lives?" He gave a thumbs down and said, "Miss it, man. It sucks." I was crushed. Here I was, 43 years old, divorced, childless, having given up all the normal human pursuits to chase a dream of being a writer. And now I finally got my name on a big Hollywood production starring Linda Hamilton. And what happened? I'm a loser, a phony. My life is worthless, and so am I. My friend Tom Keppelman snapped me out of it by asking, "Are you going to quit?" I said, "Hell no." And he said, "Then be happy. You are where you wanted to be, aren't you? So you've taken a few blows. That's the price it costs for being in the arena and not being on the sideline. So stop complaining and be grateful." And one thing this is an example of life isn't easy. There will be obstacles, there will be roadblocks, there will be stumbles and mistakes in our lives, but we need to be grateful and not complain. Because I believe everything that is in front of us is there for us and not against us. So whatever challenge is there is not to destroy your life, it is to build you up and to be all that you are here to be. And it's to utilize those experiences to make us stronger, to make us wiser, to learn and to become more expanded into the fullness of the person and the life that we are called to live. That's what he did. He kept honing his craft. He kept improving his skill. He kept learning, kept getting better, and wrote a wonderful book about this golfer finding his authentic stroke. And the name of that book was The Legend of Bagger Vance. I think they made a movie out of it. Some of you might have seen that. And he hung in there because he knew that when things don't go well, that's not the end. That's the beginning of us becoming greater. That's the beginning of us expanding and learning and bringing forth more of our great gifts. And it causes us to go deeper into ourselves and bring up more of ourselves. You know, the best example is with Jesus with the loaves and fishes. He's going to give a talk to 4,000 people, not enough food, not a great situation. And here's the 4 things Jesus did. Number 1, he told the people to sit down on the grass. He basically said, take a deep breath and just relax. Because he knew that this was supposed to be there for them, and also knowing that it was supposed to be there for them, and God means it for good. Second thing, he looked up. Meaning he looked up and he didn't focus on complaining about what wasn't. He looked up for hope and the possibilities and knowing that if God means it for good, he knew that there'd be an answer even if he couldn't see it right now. And then the third thing he did was he took what he had that still was there and he blessed that bread and he broke it. Meaning that sometimes one thing's not good in our lives and we think our whole life is awful. And this is saying, no, when one thing's in your life, look at all the good things that are still there, because there's a lot still there. And it stops you from sinking into the negativity. And the fourth thing he did after taking and breaking the bread is that he gave thanks in advance that it would work out. Think of a situation in your life that isn't going as well. You might think it's a roadblock, a stumbling block, something that you think may not. And would you do the four things? Would you just take a deep breath and know it's meant to be there? And it's also, God means it for good. Are you willing to look up and not complain at the situation, but trust that there'll be an answer even though you can't see it right now? Would you be willing to just bless and acknowledge all the good that's still in your life? And then will you give thanks? You actually open a path knowing that the solution's going to come. The solution is going to come. This works. This is how in all things give thanks, for this is God's will for you. Jesus gives the example of how to show up with a consciousness of gratitude and thankfulness even when life isn't going as well as we'd like. The fact is, we all get a little cranky. We get a little frustrated when life isn't going our way. But we can't get too much into being ungrateful and not recognizing, because it blinds us to our good and it blocks the flow of the very good that we all seek. You know, Thanksgiving is a great holiday, but let it be something that triggers us to develop a consciousness of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude and appreciation that we practice every day in our lives. It will transform our mind. It'll transform our lives. So acknowledge the good in your life and just say thank you. Appreciate who you are. Celebrate the things in your life. And, give thanks in the challenge. Know it, God means it for good. Give thanks. Acknowledge the good that's there. This Thanksgiving season, let Thanksgiving Day be your jar number 43. That'll help you remember and make a commitment to expressing greater gratitude by saying thank you. Thank you very much. All right.